Alright, well today on the job site I got a rental machine. It's a Bobcat T-770. It's about an 11,000 pound machine with the bucket. It does have like 2,200 hours on it, so it's not a spring chicken, but it still works excellent, so I figured I'd take you guys on for the ride. Alright, well hopefully this camera angle works. I don't know. So goofy angle for the camera because it's kind of hard to find a good place to mount in these things. So yeah, just a little backstory. So I guess you don't think this is the first skid steer I've ran to form my opinions. I've spent, I don't know, probably the most amount of time in a Bobcat A770, which is an all-wheel steer machine. Which, shame on you Bobcat for quit making those things, but that's a separate topic. But I've spent probably 2,000 hours in a Bobcat A770. I've spent probably 500 hours in an S330, which is older. They quit making those. Quite a bit of time in a tool cat. Most recently, I've spent a lot of time in a Cat 270. Ooh, that's a big rock. 279 and 259. And then a Kubota SVL 97-2. I've spent quite a bit of time in those as well. And I hate Cat skid steers, I'm not gonna lie. I like their excavators. I've spent quite a bit of time in a Cat 304, Cat 308. I've spent some time in, and I like those, but their skid steers are awful. This though, I think is probably my favorite track skid steer I've ran. I like the Kubota a lot. I like the controls in the Kubota. And that's actually like apples to apples machine. That's about the same size as this is. But the cab rattles so bad in that 97-2. It's, man, it's obnoxious. They did address that with the Dash 3 models, but that hasn't made it to the bigger machines yet. It's just in the 75 Dash 3. But this, some of the things I like about this machine over like the Cat skid steers or the Kubota skid steers, all skid steers have, I think, garbage visibility, but relative to a skid steer, this has good visibility. I mean, I can turn around and look out the back and actually see something, you know, within 20 feet of me. Unlike a Cat skid steer, you can't see. Man, you couldn't even see a house behind you, I feel like, out of those things. They're probably the worst visibility. So the visibility is pretty good. Out the sides, these arms, I feel like, are more sleek than the Kubota or Cat arms. So yeah, visibility, I think, is really good relative to skid steers. Obviously, even a good visibility out of a skid steer is pretty horrible compared to like a loader or something. The controls in this are good. I really like the controls in Kubota's better. They're hydraulic over hydraulic. I like the feel of that, but relative to electronic over hydraulic, these are good controls, I think. At least I like them. In this machine, the armrests move with the suspension seat. So like if I'm bouncing up and down, your joysticks go with you, which is nice. The Kubota doesn't have that, which is, you know, a bummer. I feel like even on a new machine. I think the Cat does like that. I also like the layout of the joysticks on this. They're close together. Whereas like the Kubota cab, which is nice, it's the biggest cab, but I feel like the joysticks are for someone who's 300 pounds and really wide, which I'm not 300 pounds. So they don't really fit me well. That's probably more of a preference thing. The power of this is really good. Like pushing and lifting. Curling, I feel like, is, I don't know if it's a setting thing, but curling leaves a little bit to be desired, I think. But yeah, as far as pushing and lifting, I mean, man, this thing's good. So is the SVL 97, and you know, honestly, so is the Cat 259, 279. They all push really good. And it's hard to tell apples to apples without being in the same material and the same traction, you know, all that good stuff. But I do like the power out of it, though. Holy cow, rough. moving all this dirt over here is I'm trying to fit all of the topsoil and everything I pulled off this job site into the middle of this turnaround, and I can't stack it any higher with the skid steer, so I gotta feed it to the excavator, and then the excavator, I've been stacking it a little taller, and this might get hauled off down the road, but for now that's where it's going. Like the Bobcat cabs as well. I mean, I feel like they're just as quiet as any other cab. I guess the Cats have a pretty good cab as far as noise goes. I mean, the Cats have zero storage space. Even the one machine I was running this summer is a brand new 2022, maybe 2021 Cat 259, and there's no storage in that thing. Like, there's not even room to put a cup, or no cup holder, no glove holder, no nothing. And I do like that this has at least some storage space out of it. One thing that's, I guess, probably more specific to this machine, I don't think it's a Bobcat thing, but the bucket is short, so you can't see your cutting edge. My seat's scooted way forward so I can see my cutting edge better for scraping. It's just a little bit of a shorter bucket, which, like I say, probably doesn't matter too much for, you know, the machine itself. It's more of a bucket issue. I don't even know. Oh, this is a Bobcat bucket, it says so. But the Kubota bucket I really like. It's very long, and you can see so well the grade out of that thing, I feel like. The Cat bucket seems fine, but for whatever reason, Cat wants to have their bucket like a foot farther from you than I feel like the Kubota or Bobcat. These start a lot closer. So I feel like your bucket's, I don't know, 8 inches farther away from you where you sit in the cab on the Cat compared to this or that Kubota. Starting to rain again. This job has been awesome job, but man, it just rains. It's that time of year. It rains almost every day I'm up here. Might be time for a cab on the Mini. But that machine's been awesome though. It's been perfect. Just a little breezy in the cab, if you know what I'm saying. Just gonna keep picking away at this, but yeah, I just kind of want to share some thoughts on this. I really like this machine, and obviously I'm just moving dirt. This is actually a low flow model, so for running implements it wouldn't be ideal, but I think that's probably because it's from the rental yard, and I'm sure it's quite a bit less money, so that's why it's the low flow option. But yeah, just for moving dirt, it does really well, pushes really well.